Okay, this is, let's go on. Um, okay, second sentence. Let's go on. I would do anything to help, provided that it wasn't illegal. But this is second conditional. Why? We have here would plus infinitive, and this is here provided that in the place of if it wasn't illegal. Wasn't. Okay, so this is past simple. I do anything to help, provided that it wasn't illegal. I would have lent I would have lent him my new MP3 player, providing he hadn't broken my old one. This is third conditional. Okay, I would have lent him. This is the third conditional, providing he hadn't broken my old one. Providing here in the place of if, the middle of the sentence. Okay, so this is providing, or previous example was provided that. The previous example was so long or as long as. Okay, let's share the screen, share the widget again. Okay, the expressions, here we have expressions like here conditional clause without if. So we have a conditional clause, we don't need to use if. We can make conditional clause without if or by omitting if. Omitting to remove. If, this is the meaning of omitting if, remove it. And the structure and the sentence is still conditional. In third conditional sentence, we can invert the auxiliary verb had and leave if out. Had we arrived equal if we had arrived. So this is concerning only conditional, third conditional. In the third conditional, we can remove if, and what's the word is used instead of if? Had. So had we arrived earlier, we could have prevented the incident. So the meaning here, if we had arrived. So we removed if and did something. If we had removed, became had we, if we had arrived, because became had we arrived. His real motive, I wouldn't have supported him had I known the sentence here, if I had known his real motive, if I had known. So became had I known, third conditional again. Had realized the importance of physical training, I wouldn't have wasted my time. So if I had realized, I wouldn't have wasted. Third condition. In first conditional sentence, it's possible to use should at the beginning of the sentence instead of if. So instead here in third conditional, had is used instead of if. What about first conditional? In first conditional, should is used instead of if. So the word is should. This form is formal and is quite common with an imperative form in the main clause. So here, if we use the should instead of if in the second, instead of if in the first clause, that means that you make your sentence more formal. Should problems arise, we will seek professional help. So the main sentence was if problems arise, we will. If here we said should. Okay, to make the speech more formal. Should you find the answer, please let me know as soon as possible. So if you find the answer, became should you find the answer. Remove if, put should. In first conditional only to make the speech formal. Should you change your mind, you know where to contact us. So if you change your mind, first conditional again, use should. We can make conditional forms by putting where at the beginning of the sentence. This is concerning second conditional. Where are you? I wouldn't permit this. Where are you? I wouldn't permit this. Where are you? Instead of if I were you. If I were you, I wouldn't permit it. So I removed if and reverse it. Okay, I reverse it. I were became where I. Okay, we reversed it and removed if we used where. This is second conditional. So third conditional, you can remove if and use had with the third conditional, where with the second conditional, should with the first conditional. Had, where, should can be replaced at the beginning of if conditional instead of the word if. The negative form should I not, had we not, were we not. This is negative form. When should, had, or were are negative, contracted forms are not possible, and not is used after the subject. Should you not wish to retake the test, should you not wish to retake the test, you must let us know before the this again. Continue. Let's continue. This is the slide. Yes, we share the booklet here. Okay. Okay. Conditional sentence can also be made with unless, but for, or without. Unless, unless, but for, without. Unless, but for, without. We can use them for conditional sentence, unless, but for, and without. So the words unless, but for, without are used instead of if, with the meaning of if not. So the three of them mean if not. Unless you work hard, you want to pass. The word here, the sentence here, if you don't work hard, you will not pass. So we remove if you don't and we put unless. But for your help, I would have been in a big trouble. Okay, so without your help, but for your help, unless you help me, all are the same. Without studying hard, you won't succeed. Unless you study hard, you won't succeed. Without studying, but for studying hard, you won't succeed. The three of them means not, if not in the three conditions, three and the all types of conditions. If it weren't for, if it hadn't been for. Okay, another expressions with if. These expressions mean without. They are used in second or third conditionals and are usually followed by a noun phrase, a noun phrase. A phrase starts with noun. They are used if it weren't for, if it hadn't been for, are used in second and third conditions. If it weren't for Miguel, we wouldn't know what to do now. If it weren't for Miguel, we wouldn't know what to do now. So the sentence here without her, without her. If it hadn't been for you, here, so here, if it weren't for Miguel, so this is a noun. If it hadn't been for your foolishness, again noun, we wouldn't have got lost. Okay, let's have the test. Read it together. Number one, test your understanding of these expressions with this grammar exercise. Okay, let's read number one. We can win the championship, providing or unless, the second choice is unless. Of course, providing we avoid bad injuries. We avoid bad injuries. Number two, I leave you now. I leave you now as long as there is anything left there's anything left to do now. So as long as. Number three, we can hold the party in the garden. We can hold the party in the garden provided it doesn't rain. Provided it doesn't rain. Four, the public will be admitted to the galleries unless or providing they make a donation. So providing, of course, providing they make a donation. Okay, number five. Number five, you can keep the puppy. You can keep the puppy as long as or provided that both answers are correct. As long as or provided that both answers are correct. Six, you can take my car. Six, you can take my car as long as or provided that either is correct. You drive carefully. Seven, I can't help you. I can't help you unless you tell me what's wrong. Eight, I can help you provided that you tell me what's wrong. So seven and eight, one with can't, another with can. So if you say can't, you have to say unless. If you say can help you, you have to say provided that. So the meaning is correct. So you can don't make the meaning wrong. He wouldn't eat anything unless he cooked it himself. He wouldn't eat anything unless he cooked it himself. You can take this seat. No one has reserved it. So we can say providing or as long as, not unless. Not unless. My parents don't care who I marry as long as I am happy. This is the only possible answer. 12, you can go out now. You can say providing you finish your homework, provided that you finish your homework, as long as you finish your homework. The three of them are correct.